Hey, it's the Chief, bonding with board games and RPGs. We're going to be moving down to the south, down to Sanchez. Now, before we get into that, if you're enjoying these segments, these are a little bit different from a normal fare. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and please subscribe. All that tracks, and it's kind of how more people find the show. On that note, so we've been clicking around the clock. We're at Lafayette. Those buses are showing up. We'll come to that in a second. We're coming to it. Got up to Krieg. Krieg went all rogue, wanting to increase his legend, persona, whatever. He goes outside the wire, ends up getting into it with a terrible shot on a motorcyclist. We have Pacheco and the kids. Yes, some children who are learning to fight on the job training. Now we're sliding down to Sanchez. Now, Sanchez had been in the Army. Of course, he's a contractor for Pim Jim. Just to remind you of what he looks like, he's got a rugged, craggy face, considered attractive, but he also has some kind of like, I don't know, it says acid scars on his face. So on those descriptors, I can't remember if I used Une or if I used maze rats, which are both listed in the description if you want some information. Helps you when you're solo playing on the fly come up with descriptions and things of characters. I'll also be using the Mythic Game Master emulator. The key part you'll be seeing is a fate chart and then some random action and subject meanings to help me come up with stuff that will surprise me. So Sanchez is armed with an M1A2 and an M16, not an M1, M16A2. His cuff is A, so very unlikely that he will be suppressed. Strength B, agility A, intelligence C, and empathy D. So you're looking at the map, and the action was actually a little bit off to the east. But that 50's been rocking and rolling. Sanchez is not too far away from the action, but based on all those trees in the way, I think he would head over to that location. Now, our chaos factor is still at 7. Let me double check. Yes, the chaos factor is still at 7. That means yes questions are more likely to occur. So, what I think would happen, I think it's very likely, and at a 7, that means it's 95%. I think it's very likely that Sanchez would move towards the sound of the gunfire. In his description, he wants to make a name for himself. When the character was created, this was part of his ethos. He's always looking to make a name for himself, and he wants to be where the action's at. Now, of course, we're going to roll. It doesn't mean it's guaranteed. We might get above that. 71, yes. All right, so we knew it was pretty likely that he was going to move to the sound of gunfire. So Sanchez is positioned slightly west of where the action's at, and he's going to start moving to that location. Now, the group that was attacking that area is 35, like militia strong, with a full complement of 10 Bartek soldiers. So it's a pretty formative group. So a lot of the action, I don't want to follow these smaller little U.S. units that we're not necessarily connected with. We are connected with Sanchez, but we need to know when the attack first happened. We found out randomly where it was. I resolved those. There was a Molotov cocktail. Ended up landing on the hood of a Humvee, if I remember right. And then there was action back and forth, and it was kind of at a stalemate with the militia marauder folks in a tree line engaging that 50. I'm going to use just a 50 card deck random draw, and I'm going to continue this action I've been using, that anything ace is going to be like the high end of what I'm asking, and a 2 would be at the low end. So what I want to know is how successful, keeping things moving, is this militia attack on this one Humvee? Are they spreading out and kind of overwhelming it? This is going to be whatever Sanchez by himself is rushing into. So just to clarify, if we get a 2 It means the 50's actually holding these guys back a little bit. I'll even attach some casualties to them. We'll probably do another draw for that. But if it's an ace of some type, the Humvee's probably in the midst of literally being overrun. So we've been shuffling. Let's just do a draw. I don't know what this is yet. 8. All right. So, of course, 7 would be halfway down the line on this. So an 8 means it's a little bit more that they're kind of giving back and forth, but I give that the militia are starting to gain an advantage. I think they've probably taken a couple casualties. I'm going to go ahead and drop them down just with their civilian Nesian militia, dropping down to, we're just going to move them to 33. The Bartek Marauders are still at 10. That's still a very sizable force. So what we know is, as Sanchez, let me put these down or I'll keep distracting and shuffling. Sanchez is coming out with his M16A2 right as this action. Hold on. All right, sorry, the puppy was letting me know it needed attention. But it got me thinking. I want to know how Sanchez is coming into this. We know he's looking for to make a name for himself. Is he just going to literally, pop in over top of the Humvee and start engaging bad guys? He does have night vision. Or is he going to kind of hold off on the outside and pick a couple shots? Again, we're going to go with degrees. Ace being, boom, he's right up there, joining in with the other, I'm thinking 5 or so, not to mention the 50 gunner in the Humvee. Ace puts him there. 2 kind of puts him stealthily just kind of creeping in a low crawl and getting a position. And then I'll do some probably recon dice to see what he sees, depending on where we're at. 9. All right, so we're over the median. So what would be the middle of that? So he's not creeping in, but he's not rushing in and right up on the Humvee. All right, he's got his night vision. So if we're working on his recon, we are looking at his intelligence, which is a C, and his recon, which is a C. He does have his night vision, so even though it's dark, we're not going to give him any negative modifiers on that. So the 2 C's are going to be 2 8-sided die. So I'm going to do a recon. I want to just, I'm picturing that as he's rolling in, he's just kind of pausing and seeing what does he take in with his night vision and see. We got 2 5s, so there's no success here. It gives him no clarity at all. So what I'm going to do is shift the advantage to these Marauders, which are attacking. I don't know how good are these Marauders. There's all 10 of them, so they're broken down. They're managing these 33 Nesians that they have. Is this a headlong rush, in which case it'll be like an ace, or is this a 2, in which case I'm going to have them literally dispersed out very wide while one individual or maybe a small group with one of the Marauders is engaging the Humvee. Everybody else is kind of stealthily sneaking in. So again, we're looking for that range. 2 is going to be this ultimate stealth move that these Marauders are controlling as they come in. Ace is a probably pretty deadly for themselves headlong rush. Jack. All right, Jack. So they're much closer to an unorganized rush than they are this ultimate stealth. I think what that's going to, I'm going to just list that we have half of them, both Marauder 5 and roughly 15. So we're going to do 15 and 5 Marauders that just put a rush on this Humvee, holding half of their group in reserve. I like that. So let's see. I want to see, how does this 50 gunner do? We're going to say he's fairly, I would think he's a couple 8s on there. This is Nightfire. He does have his vision going on. He's going to fire into this group that's on a mad rush. And I want to keep this flowing, so I'm going to just keep her going here and see what he has. The rate of fire, if I remember right, was 4. We'll see if we get any kind of suppression with this. So this is the 50 gunner, and we're viewing this through Sanchez's eyes. So we'll get to what Sanchez does in a second. This is probably 50 gunner, and I'm going to throw in 2 6-sided die just for the other U.S. troops that are with them. They don't have night vision, but there is this bursting of fire which would help light up the targets, and we'll see. So first, we have misses. We're going to first handle the 6-sided die, which are the other U.S. troops there. We have a 1 and a 2. They're not going to push it. We're abstracting here. Our 50 gunner, we have a 1 and a 3, which is a miss, and we don't even have any suppressions. We have 2, 4, 2, 4. But that's a miss on this rush. And so let's picture, I think, maybe this flame that has caught the hood of the Humvee on fire. It's not in danger of burning down or burning through the armor or anything, but I would imagine that light coming off of this is messing with this 50 gunner's night vision. It's probably picking up all that light and making it real hard to kind of get a good shot of what's going on. So this rush of half the group looks like, matter of fact, I'm going to move it into a close quarter battle that I'm going to kind of facilitate here, group on group. So in close quarters battle, the 50 is basically not able to even depress down far enough. I'm picturing whoever's on the 50 is grabbing his M16. We got the other troops there, but in CQB, the advantage will go to the fact that these units do have the armored Humvee as an advantage, and they are U.S. combat battle-tested troops. So I'm going to give them advantage in this with 1 12-sided die and 1 10-sided die. As a group, we're not going to worry about any of the ammo dice here. Conversely, this mad rush from this militia group and the Marauders, the 5 Marauders leading them, are just going to have 6-sided die as they literally move into this overwhelming combat, and then I'm going to pop out and we'll see what Sanchez does. First, resolve. This roll right here is I'm going to put hits as taking down, we'll figure out the percentage if they get some hits on who. We got a 10 and an 8, so very successful. We're going to figure out exactly what that means. What is this going to roll? A 5 and a 2. So the U.S. troops come up and just start engaging as they get in close. Maybe that fire on the hood is actually assisting now as they come in. The 50 gunner comes off that 50, can't depress enough, pulls up his M16 and just starts peppering in. The other guys are kind of up on that Humvee and they're peppering in on this group that's coming in. So we've got 3 hits. I'm going to work this. The max off of this would have been 4 hits total for the max. So we're almost at max. I think that means they drop in this first rushing onslaught, half the group coming at them. So we're going to put them down, that group. I'll still put them at 3 Marauders coming in. I think they're holding back a little bit, kind of guiding these untrained groups, and then this untrained group, and then we had 15 of these Nosians coming in, and I'm going to go ahead and just cut them down to 7. So we're at a rushing group of 10. Now don't forget, we've got this other group, 18 and another 5 Marauders that can come in. Sanchez, though, we got to go to Sanchez. Sanchez sees this. That's a heck of a pushback. And they're now all into hand-to-hand combat. So we're going to be, or again, CQB will probably be rolling on this again in a second. Sanchez has his night vision. I want to use this again. I think, no, let me go with a yes and no answer, because I think, again, he wants to make a name for himself. I believe he's going to wade into this. I don't think I need a graduated card system. I think it's likely, at a chaos factor of 7, that he's going to wade into this combat. He's going to move right on in and say, I'm in on this. Now that means for this roll with a chaos factor of 70, I need 90 or less. We have 19, which is just shy of an extreme. An extreme would have been 18, so we just have a yes. Sanchez pops up and starts coming in from the side and picking some targets. I think with him having that kind of waiting view, I want to see who does he pick off. I'm going to roll 2 12s for him, just because it's almost not like an ambush, but this is one extra caveat that they weren't counting on, and he's not up right in the action. He's choosing to come in bold. But does he get any hits? He gets a 1 and an 11, so 2 hits. I'm going to just say that he dumps 2 of these Nosian groups and takes them down to 5. So he just comes in and just boom, boom, and he's in the thick of it. So he's going to be factored right into this group. As I go into close quarters combat, I want to give them 3 6-sided dice. So I'm going to use one of these ammo dice, and I'm going to, again, keep this kind of my own house rule deal. This is like a dog fight. Furball. I was going to say a furball. That's not what I'm thinking of. What's the phrase? Can't think of it. This is a huge, matter of fact, let me give them 4 6-sided die. They're untrained, but now they're in hand-to-hand. And with Sanchez joining in fiercely as he came up, I'm going to have them rolling 2 12s. So first, these leftover militia groups that come in, 5 and 3, what are they doing? We do have a hit. All right, so we're going to look at that in a second. And what about the U.S. troops in Sanchez? We have 1 hit as well. Let me get an 8-sided die. And what I'm going to have is the 50 gunner is a 1, Sanchez is 7, and there was 5 other U.S. troops just in that. So the 50 gunner's up in that cupola. If we get a 1, he's the one that's hit. If we get a 7, it's Sanchez who's hit. We'll roll for damage. 8 is a reroll, and anybody else in between, I'm just going to move this U.S. group down 1. 4. All right, so the U.S. come down 1. Now, we've got a hit on them as well. I just want to do odds. It's the civilian group, and evens, it's a marauder group. 1. But now here's the kicker. Seeing this, the other group of militia that were in in reserve. Let's do graduated here again. Are they choosing to join the battle? They're going to just rush in as a second wave. Ace. Are they dispersing out, taking advantage of all of these units being tied up and just pushing into the ether of the base, disappearing into the internal part of the base? And it'll be graduated. So a 2 is dispersal of this second group. An ace is fully joining in the CQB that's going on. An 8, I keep going right down the road kind of. So this is a little bit closer to the ace. So we'll put this as middle of the road, and I think they would just fire into this dogfight that's going on. So we're going to use, again, just to keep this abstract and moving, I want to use 2 of the tan ammo dice, and if these tan ammo dice come up with hits, it's going to be their own people they hit. And if it is the green U.S., then it will be we'll roll and see who gets it from the U.S. side. So again, the likelihood that they even hit anybody is well, let's make hits or 5s and 6s on this. We're making this up on the fly. 5s and 6s are hits. And we've got none. I've got 2 3s under the U.S. and 4s under the friendly fire. So they start plinking in, and they're not hitting anybody. Okay, it is dark. So that backup crew, and we'll keep working that backup crew just like that as we move forward. So we're going to do 4 die again as this, as these CQB battle goes on. So we're going to do another round of the CQB. Again, we got 4 of the 3 of the Marauders, 4 Niznosians, and we'll roll these 12-sided die for the U.S. troops. Are there any hits? There are not any hits. Do the U.S. get any hits? They get 1 hit. So again, I'm going to do positive is going to be the Niznosians. Positive, even. It is negative, so we've lost a Marauder. So one of the Marauders is killed. I'm picturing, again, they're in full just hand-to-hand combat or very close CQB with the rifles. Again, I'm not going through some of the crunchy rules that they do have with CQB here, but I believe we would grind to a near halt if we did that at this point in time. So the back and forth is still going on. Sanchez is still up. I'm going to go again. Does this Marauder group in reserve rush in? Do we get closer to the middle of the line where they're just going to shoot into the crowd, or are they going to go like ether and just flow into the interior? A 2. That is ether. All right, so what we are left with is we have 5 Marauders and 18 militia Niznosians that have just moved into the interior. So what we've got going on, we'll continue this little fight, but they're moving in. We had 2 sections moving in from the west. North side, all those guys were taken out. And of course, if you remember, we've got the groups that have hopped the walls on the east side. So they're starting to get in. This is going to get completely compromised as far as the base goes as we come in, and the action probably won't be on this exterior as much as it's going to be the farmhouse and the operations center at the heart of the compound. And I will get back to Jan, the Marauder leader, and the Marauder that went with him that are on they're going to go snatch up the farm woman. Capture her for Krieg, who is a sadist. So we're back to the combat. The other guys, one of the Marauders has taken over and said, disperse. We're moving in. Let that fight happen. We're headed interior. They're engaged. Move forward. That brings us back to the combat that is going on the CQB. So again, we've got 4 Marauders left, 2 Marauders left, and 4 militia Niznosians. Do they get any hits? They do get a single hit, so we're going to be figuring out what that is. Sanchez could be at play in that. And do we, the U.S., we get a single hit as well with the 8. So, first things first, we're going to roll the 6-sided die. 1 is going to be that 50 gunner. 6 is going to be Sanchez. 2, 3, 4, or 5 will be just one of the other U.S. troops. 3, so we lose yet another U.S. troop. We'll move Sanchez down to 5 here just so I can tell. All right, and so we're going to do it again. If it's odd, we're going to lose one of the Marauders. It is odd, so yet another Marauder. We're down to just 1 Marauder, 4 Niznosians, and with that skill level, I'm only going to give them 3 dice to roll in their combat now, because we're going to continue this. The rest of the group has gone in. Nobody's shooting. But I think we've got to adjust because we've lost some U.S. troops. We're going to keep the 112 in there. But I think with that, let's drop her down to an 8 for their roll as well. Not the 10, an 8. So we got an 8 and a 12 for the U.S. and 3 6-sided die. Niznosians, no hits. U.S. troops, no hits. And let's just do this again. We have a hit by the militia group, and we have 2 hits by the U.S. troops. So we're going to do a 6-sided die again. There's only 5 left. Again, 1 will be the 50 gunner. Now 5 will be Sanchez. 2 or 3 or 4. The guys in between. 1, the 50 gunner takes a round. I'm picturing him up there just engaging. he's up at that elevated position. It's going to draw a lot of attention. He's got a little bit of cover, but I picture a fatal shot to the head. So we're moving him down to a 4, or we have 4 U.S. troops now. 4 U.S. troops. However, we got 2 of the militia. We're going to roll 2 dice. If we get any odds here at all, the last Marauder, Bartek, better trained Marauder will be out, and we've got 4 Niznosians. Oh, 6 and a 4, both evens. So that Marauder is still around, but we're down to just 2 of the kind of untrained militia and 1 Marauder. And I'm going to move them down to just 2 die to hit now. And I think I will move us down to a 10 and an 8 just to keep things going. So it's basically 5 on 3 right now, but they're all intermingled. So here we go again. No hits by militia. Ooh, 2 hits. All right, so I picture, is it Sanchez? We're going to say, I think it's probably likely that Sanchez is rocking and rolling. 86, just barely, yes. So I picture Sanchez just coming up. And so again, we've got 2 hits. Any odds? Yes, 1 odd, 1 even. The Marauder is dropped, and we're down to just 1 Niznosian. So I just picture Sanchez just coming in, booting somebody, and then and he's just rocking and rolling and shifting that over. So we're going to be down to just 1 6-sided die. There is no quarter here. Is there a hit? No. Is there a hit? No. How long will this go? I'm going to roll them together, and there we go. We've got U.S. with a hit. The last Niznosian is down, and they have come out on top, but with only 4 U.S. troops at that Humvee. The battle at that road Humvee, and don't forget, we've got 18 untrained militia, 5 Marauders that have moved into the interior from that location down to the south. And we're going to pause that scene right there. I do want to know, though, something random. I want to do 1 random event at this location. 1 random event. 51. And by the way, I may miss some doubles every once in a while, and I apologize. Overindulge. What does that mean? And 84. Overindulge. Status quo. If you overindulge the status quo, so just keeping things the same, well, all right. So there's 0 move by Sanchez in regards to these other Marauders that have kind of melted into the interior. He just maintains the status quo of this forward defensive area. And he overindulges it. I think he calls for reinforcements to his location. He calls for reinforcements over the radio to his location. Maybe he doesn't even know the rest of these folks have gone into the ether. We did get a 2. I like that. He thinks they're still out in front of him, and he's got them locked in place. I don't even need to flip a card. He believes that group has not penetrated in, yet it's still out in front of him. I picture that call on the radio to Major McGiffin saying, hey, I've got a large body up front. We've just been closely engaged. I'm down to 5. I need more troops. Are they going to be sent? Ace, yes. 2, no. Anything in between? 5. McGiffin basically comes on and says, nobody to send at this point in time. Hold your line. There is no knowledge that this group has penetrated. Sanchez thinks they're still out in front. Everybody's locking and loading, getting more mags ready, but the threat has actually bypassed them and will have to be dealt with in a future episode. So we're going to call that scene right there. I'll be rolling around. We're coming up to, we're going to go to LeFew and what may be an Alamo type stand. And then we're going to go to the farmhouse, and then we're going to start around the clock again, but we're going to include operations center as well, because now we have a lot of troops inside the wire. Again, if you like the show, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. Subscriptions are coming up, so thank you. Those that are enjoying this content, if you want to keep it coming, click that subscribe button. That shows my numbers and helps it get out to more people. And I can't remember your name, but thanks to the fellow that was in Seattle and was putting out to folks about my solo role play of Twilight 2000 4th edition going on here on this channel. I appreciate it. Thanks for helping to get the word out. See you guys. Thanks. Bye.